Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how the judge arrived at the engagement party and stopped the engagement from happening because Shalu called the judge there. So let's continue from there. Shalu comes to Balvinder's house after finding out that Balvinder was at the Obrey's house during the engagement. Shalu says to Balvinder that Rishi and Lakshmi are married and you cannot do anything. She asks, how dare you to go there? Balvinda asks Shalu that did you forget what I have done with you? Shalu asks, did you also forget what happened after you did that? Balvinda says, my other woman had beaten me. Shalu says, you are shameless. Balvinda says, this is love. And he tells Shalu that everyone knows about Rishi and Lakshmi's divorce. He says, get habitual to calling me brother-in-law and says, I will keep your sister happy and I will not raise my hand on her like I used to do on my previous wives. Shalu says to Balvinda that this is not love, but anger. Balvinda asks Shalu to leave and says Lakshmi knows well that I love her. He says we are two bodies and one soul. Neha says I know you love Shalu a lot. Balvinda asks Neha to take Shalu away. Shalu warns Balvinda that if he troubles Lakshmi or Rishi, then she would inform the police that he is here. She asks him to stay away from them and she goes. Neha provokes Balvinda and says even dogs are better than you. She says Shalu barked at you and she left, but you did not do anything. Grandma tells Virendra and Ahana that she is fine and she asks them not to disturb her and she goes. Ahana says she will sleep here tonight. Grandma says it is a matter of few days because she would go to her in-laws' house after marriage. Ahana says she will not marry. Grandma says everyone used to say this, all the girls say this, but they get married eventually. She says some alliance would come for you. Ahana says it seems that you are fine and says she would go and sleep. Virendra asks Grandma that why is she teasing Ahana? Grandma says she wants to get childish in old age. Virendra asks Grandma to sleep. Grandma asks Virendra to go to the room and says Neelam is worried. Virendra says I cannot understand Lakshmi. These 3 months should end soon. Grandma asks Virendra not to take tension and he should go and sleep. Rishi congratulates Lakshmi and says you have won. Lakshmi says Malishka must have told you this and she also told you that I want to stop your engagement. Rishi says I don't like your tone. Lakshmi says she is angry and Rishi knows well why she is angry. She asks that what does Rishi want to say in clear thing. Rishi asks for what? Lakshmi recalls Malishka kissing on Rishi's cheeks and she wipes Rishi's cheeks. Rishi smiles and says you did not like that Malishka kissed me, right? Lakshmi asks Rishi that why are you wasting your time? She asks him to ask her what she likes and what she doesn't like. She says that Rishi will be free and he should talk like everyone. They say that I insult the family. Rishi asks, did Shalu tell you this? Lakshmi says she knows that everyone thought that she is wrong. Rishi says today was my life's biggest day and I would have been happy, but you ruined it all. Rishi says to Lakshmi that whatever you want can never happen. He says nobody can bind me with you. Who are you? You don't exist for me. He says people stay in hotel and that doesn't mean that the house belongs to them. Lakshmi says nobody becomes of someone with half engagement. She says no Malishka can come in your life for 2 months and 1 week. Rishi asks Lakshmi if she is challenging him. Lakshmi says I am telling you what the judge said. She asks Rishi to thank her because he made fun of her but she stopped him from going to jail. He asks, why did you save me? Tell me, did I ask you? He asks her to answer him. He says, I want to know today. Lakshmi looks on. Malishka returned home with Kiran and Abe. The servant congratulates Malishka for her engagement and says, we bought this cake for you. They ask her to cut the cake and they clap. Malishka throws the cake on the floor and she asks the servant to be a servant. Abe says Malishka is upset. Kiran asks them to clean the floor. Abe says that nothing can be gotten before destiny wants it. Rishi asks Lakshmi if she cannot say what she wants to say and says he knows that she wants to show her power. Lakshmi asks, do you think this about me? Rishi says you want to humiliate us and that is why you called the judge here and you might have told her that she should say this and when she started scolding us, you acted to save us. He says if you wanted to be great and savior, then you would have let me get engaged to Malishka. Lakshmi says to Rishi that I was just watching and says if you have watched, then you would have stopped the engagement. She says you don't have any intelligence, you are doing wrong and says you need common sense for this. Rishi shouted Lakshmi and he asked her to stay in her limit. Lakshmi says, I have make you understand my words, and says, I wanted to stop this engagement. Then I saw your happiness and I stopped myself. Lakshmi tells Rishi that I later told Shalu that your engagement with Malishka is wrong, and Shalu went and called the judge. She says Shalu did right, but instead of her, I should have called the judge. She says, I know if I had told you once not to get engaged, then you wouldn't have listened to me. Just then, Rishi's phone rings. Rishi picks the video call of Malishka. He asks, did you reach home? Malishka says yes, and I am missing you. Lakshmi keeps her hand on Rishi's shoulder and says that she is talking to her husband, and she ends the call. Malishka calls again. Lakshmi talks in Punjabi and says she is talking about something important with her husband, and she asks Malishka not to interfere. Malishka gets shocked with her blunt reply, and she thinks to go there and see what Lakshmi is up to. Lakshmi hid Rishi's phone in the kitchen cabinet. Rishi comes there and asks her to give him his phone. Lakshmi says you will not get your phone, and she asks him to say once what she wants him to say. She asks him to promise her that he will behave nicely with her. Rishi asks if Lakshmi will return his phone if I behave nicely with you or talk to you well. He snatches his phone and drowns it in the water. He says he is Rishi Oberoi and he keeps condition to others. He says the relationship are connected by heart and not by art. Rishi calls Malishka from Ayushi's number. He says, I would ask the manager to get me new phone. Malishka asks, where is your phone? She asks if Lakshmi said anything. Rishi asks Malishka not to worry and he ends the call. Ayush asks, what has Lakshmi done? Rishi goes without talking. Ayush says, why is Lakshmi not going away from here? Nobody likes her here. Please go away from here. Everyone will be happy. Lakshmi hears Ayush. Ayush sees Lakshmi and he asks if she was hearing them silently. Lakshmi says, I just heard my name and that is why I stopped here. Ayush says, if you have heard me, then think and just leave from here. Nobody likes you here. Lakshmi says, you were my good friend and then my brother-in-law, but now I don't know what happened. Ayush says to Lakshmi that I am not your friend or your brother-in-law. Lakshmi says we can make friendship with our choice, but other relationships get made by itself. You are my brother-in-law, and neither you nor me can break it. She says I am Rishi's wife till long time. Ayush thinks that what does Lakshmi mean? Malishka tells Kiran about Rishi and Lakshmi's fight. She says Rishi called from Ayush's phone and told me that his phone was broken. She says Rishi might have broken the phone. Kiran says Lakshmi might have broken the phone. Malishka says now nothing can happen between Lakshmi and Rishi. Kiran says, seeing your confidence, even I think the same. Ahana comes to the dining table. Rishi comes there and says good morning. Lakshmi says good morning. Rishi says good morning to Ahana. He asks the servant to bring his parcel. He checks the parcel and gets the new phone. Ahana asks, why did you buy the new phone? Rishi says he has to buy it. He asks her about Malishka's number and says he would save Malishka's number first. Malishka comes there and says that she was missing them and that is why she came. Malishka says, Mom asked me to have breakfast at home, but I wanted to have it with my family. Neelam asks Malishka to sit. She asks about the phone. Rishi says he thought to get a new phone because he is starting a new life. Rishi asks Malishka to save her number on his new phone. Karishma asks, didn't you know Malishka's number? Malishka says, who remembers anybody's number these days? Lakshmi asks Rishi that what is my number? Rishi says Lakshmi's number offhand and he stops after realizing what he just did. Lakshmi says, I knew that Rishi will remember even though you don't know Malishka's number. Rishi says, I didn't say the last digit. Lakshmi says just the last digit was missing and it is 9. Rishi says no, it is 28. You don't even remember your own number. Lakshmi says yes, it is 28. I intentionally said 9 so that you can correct me. Neelam asks Lakshmi that what do you want to prove? Lakshmi is about to talk, but Neelam asks her not to talk in helpless voice. Grandma and Virendra comes there. Grandma asks that what happened. Malishka says everyone's mood is spoiled because of Lakshmi, and she asks her to go to the room and have breakfast. Lakshmi says I will not go anywhere. This is my family and I will be with them, and she sits with them. Karishma says to Lakshmi that we are not your family. Grandma says leave it. Karishma says what else can we do and says I don't know how these 3 months would go. She says she wants to send Lakshmi to her house. Lakshmi says we can say anything being an elder. Ayush comes there and talks to Ahana. and Virendra asks them to send his breakfast to his room. A lady comes there and says, I heard that Rishi's engagement party was here, but he is already married. Lakshmi says it was just a party and people misunderstood it. Malishka says very soon, Rishi would marry me. The lady says she has good news for them and she tells them about an alliance for Ahana. She says Mr. and Mrs. Gujra saw Ahana and they liked her. She says they have taken her pictures and they asked me about her, so I told them. Ayush teases Ahana that she has gotten a match. The lady tells Ahana that she would have good pair with the guy, who is a London-based guy. Virendra asks Ahana to think and tell them if she wants to get married. Karishma says we should meet the family and decide. Neelam asks if Ahana will meet the guy's family. Ahana is silent. Ayush asks Ahana to take her time. Karishma asks Ahana to talk, and Ahana says just as you say is fine. Neelam says we should call the guy's family for lunch. The lady says they have continental food only. Karishma says don't worry, Sudha. We would call the chefs. The lady says they want homemade food, so leave lunch. We should call them at 11 a.m. She says Ahana will make the food later. Lakshmi says I can make continental food. Ayush asks, do you really know how to make continental food? And everyone is shocked. Neelam asks Lakshmi that can you make continental food? Lakshmi says I have made it in village for foreigners and they liked it. She says if they meet us over lunch, then we will get more time to talk. Virendra asks Lakshmi, are you sure? Lakshmi nods yes. Malishka gets upset. Ahana goes. Lakshmi goes behind Ahana and asks if she is happy with this alliance. Ahana says no, and she asks that why is Lakshmi asking her. She says I want to be alone, and she asks Lakshmi to go. Lakshmi hugs her, and Ahana also hugs Lakshmi. Lakshmi says to Ahana that even I don't regard you as my sister-in-law, but I regard you as my sister, just like Shalu, and your heart knows. She says you can talk to me about anything and you will feel light. Lakshmi says I am seeing that something is bothering you from inside. She says if someone stays with us, then we get courage, and she encouraged Ahana to tell her what is bothering her mind. Karishma and Sonia watch movie. Neelam comes there. Karishma says we should watch the movie together. Neelam says people are coming to see Ahana and says they are coming for lunch, and she asks them to make arrangement. Sonia says Lakshmi is already making the arrangement. Neelam asks Karishma to go and talk to Ahana, being her mother. She says Ahana needs her mother now. Karishma says I understand, and she tells Sonia that they will watch the movie tomorrow. Neelam asks Karishma that what will you do without me? Karishma says you are always there with me. Ahana comes to Lakshmi and asks, how did you know that I was not feeling fine? Lakshmi says, I really regard you as Shalu, and says if she doesn't tell me anything, then also I understand. Ahana says I cannot understand, and she asks if Lakshmi is showing care just to show off. Lakshmi says to Ahana that you are just like Shalu. She says you will know after marriage that a person becomes yours after marriage. His family and his parents becomes yours. She asks if Ahana's parents haven't scolded her in her childhood. Ahana nods that yes. Lakshmi says when we don't feel bad about our parents' scolding, then we should not feel bad about our in-laws' scolding. She says you would understand this, and your in-laws' house will be your home, and your parents' house will just be like a place of visit. Ahana says to Lakshmi that she had an affair with a guy, but she had breakup 6 months back. Lakshmi asks if Ahana is nervous, and she asks if she wants to marry now. Ahana says yes, surely. Lakshmi says I will not let anything wrong happen, and says pinky promise. She hugs Ahana. Malishka hears Lakshmi's promise to Ahana, and she gets angry that Lakshmi is rebuilding her relationship with the family members again. Okay guys, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to check the comment section for the link to the next update once it is available. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.